Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Good's Gone Well podcast. My name is Adam Garric, and my guest today's sitting right next to me on my right-hand side, or my right-hand side, Chris, brother Latham. Finally, we get to meet in person.
It's very nice. I mean, we've been in touch through socials for so long that it's finally nice to see you and hear you. So thank you for having me and supporting
Not a
me.
not a problem, dude. It's kind of feel like we've kind of known each other forever now.
Yeah, it does. I mean, again, we've never spoke, but we've always reached out to see how each other's doing. So it's more than an acquaintance. So thanks, Adam.
No, anytime. So, congratulations on your new single with Beastö Blancö, "Run for Your Life." Such a banger song, and like your guitar playing is amazing in that.
Thank you. It's a good one. It's definitely a little bit different of a direction that Beastö has taken on this record.
Yeah.
You know, we have Chris Harms, who, wrote a lot of stuff and produced all of it. And it was, the guy just knocked it out of the park. And I felt that he was able to keep our, kind of keep our vibe, but yet take us in a bit of a different direction of the songs, but still, keep our soul, which was really good. And, I'm just real happy with the way everything turned out. And the song is slamming.
And the video clip's pretty good too. I actually like the video clip as well.
Yeah, we had a good time on that. Callie she knocked it out of the ballpark on that. She had these ideas, and she's talking to Chuck, and I want to do this, and it was like, okay, run with it, man. And they're like little epic movies, they're really cool.
Yeah. So she directed the video clip, didn't she?
Yes. Yeah.
Ah, nice. And I find that Chuck's voice on this is it's like going that one step further.
Yeah. I think with these songs needed that, and being in the studio, I think Chris really pushed him in different ways just to. Chuck's a good singer. He's a great voice. He's one of the few singers where you can bang out 13 to 15 shows in a row, and his voice doesn't go out. I've always loved Chuck's voice. And this took him in a direction where I think it maybe took him out of his comfort zone a little bit on certain things, and actually took all of us out of our comfort zone just in the nature of the music, but in a good way, going in with an open mind and just, trusting the end product.
Yeah. Nice. And, so let's go back and get to know you, Chris, because I kind of feel like there's some things I would like to know about you, and until now, So tell everybody who you are and where you grew up and how your music career started.
Hi, my name is Chris Latham. I'm not an alcoholic. I grew up Anchorage, Alaska, or outside of Anchorage anyway, from Alaska, and started playing guitar, in high school. I've always been a big fan of music as definitely as a listener, even spinning records, and even if I only had one record, I spin that thing, once it was done, I'd flip it over. And even before high school, I would go to bed listening to record players. Back then they would stop and then they would keep just going. I would fall asleep to Led Zeppelin 2 and Leonard Skinner. And, it's all these cool bands that I was really into. But really what got me playing was one day I was a wrestler in high school.
Really?
Yeah. And we were in practice. And one of the guys brought in this boombox. I'm probably dating myself calling it a boombox, and all of a sudden I just heard this Diary of a Madman, and I was like, "What the fuck is that?" It was it just really just I didn't even know it was Ozzy. I was like, "Oh, this is rad." I went and bought the cassette, put it in, and just was married to it. And that was one of the first things I think musically that spoke to me to want to even pick up a guitar, because I had really had no interest in wanting to play guitar up until I heard that. And fast forward a little bit, came to Los Angeles. And then went to college and studied music and did some played in some classical guitar ensembles and toured with some orchestras along here with down here, and had a good time just learning music. During that process, Chuck and I moved down to Los Angeles at the same time. Him from Tahoe and me from Alaska, and I was working at a record store, and Chuck, right the first day he drove into town, he went and got a job at the record store, and that's how we met, and we just hit it off. And like that night we hit it off, and we've been best friends ever since. Maybe I'm going off topic, but that's what as far as guitar players, Randy definitely spoke to me. The other guitar player that really spoke to me, and there's many of them that I don't really have a favorite guitar player. There's so many I love.
Same.
Vivian Campbell, when Holy Diver came out, and I wasn't even playing guitar even when that came out, but I was just blown away. And when Dio was going up to Anchorage, it was one of those, it was one of my first concerts. And I'm getting texts right now from Chuck and Calico.
Oh, really?
Tell them I said hello. Anyway, they're telling me I have a booger on my nose or something. I don't know what they're talking. Anyway, and so Vivian Campbell was the other guitar player that really I wanted to dive into and like learn his stuff, and so I completely just robbed those guys of every lick that they possibly knew. There used to be this series you could buy as a lesson called Star Licks. It comes into it. It would be in a cassette, and it came with a little booklet, and it would play you just little short excerpts of certain solos, right? So you'd have like maybe the opening for Crazy Train, but then it would play. There'd be 20 of them in there, and it'd be all these different Randys or Vivian Campbells, and I learned every one of them. And that was my repertoire of guitar playing for the longest time, So
you were self-taught?
I took some lessons initially.
Yeah.
And then pretty much was self-teaching myself until I went to music school in the college. And then I was, really learning a lot of theory and, a lot of stuff, which helped out a lot, just opened the door to what the guitar spells out and what you can really do with notes and how to use notes and phrasing and incorporate it into your own repertoire.
Yeah. Well, the way of like learning guitar now, it's changed a lot over the years now. Especially like on YouTube, you can actually just slow it down.
Yeah. That's what my son did. My son had no inkling to ever want to play guitar, and then he started when he was in high school, and he had a guitar class in high school, and then every night he was popping on YouTube, learning. Metallica is one of his favorite bands, so he was learning everything Metallica, and it was pretty awesome because I would just sit there and stand by the door and just hear him play like, Master of Puppets, and you start getting into the song, and then he learned just what he wanted to learn of it. He would never learn the whole thing. Yeah. And it would drive me nuts because you'd hear him play this whole thing and it would be really good. And then he would stop and change to, I don't know, Crazy Train or something else. And he'd be like, doggone it, just finish the song. Yeah. Now I'm into it,
Sounds like me.
I
did the same thing.
My dad was the same too. I would like I told you, I would learn those star licks. And even though if he didn't like Ozzy, my dad was a rock guy, but he did, he wasn't into the metal. But his thing is like, if you're going to learn something, finish the fucking song, learn the whole thing, because I would learn parts that I liked and then I'd move on to something else, so I can never play a whole song, And it used to drive him nuts. And that now, you know, fast forward many years and I see what he's talking about.
Yeah, yeah. When I go to gigs though, like I go to enjoy and watch like the band play and stuff like that. But like 90% of the time, I like watching the guitar player, just watching like what's he playing there. You know, like okay, I'm hitting that note wrong. I'm playing this wrong. Oh, this is how he plays it.
Yeah, I do too. You know,
Yeah,
you know, when like through, I don't know, especially with Beastö, like a lot of the guitar stuff that we put down, like every solo and every little note in there has a purpose for me. I don't just jam something on there. Like most of the records I'll have, you know, the engineer, the producer, they'll send me the section that I may be focusing on, and I will go over and I will write something in it, and I'll spend hours on it, just so it fits the song. You know, some of the best solos for me are those ones that are memorable that you can sing back. You know, the Hotel California is, you know, you can sing that whole solo from front to beginning. I don't care if you play guitar or not. You know, I like to, you know, I hope to anyway, or strive to write solos and parts and rhythms or whatever it might be guitar wise. That it's always memorable. You know, I think every instrument in a song needs to have a hook. I don't care if it's the drums and whatever the drummer's doing or whatever the bass, you know, it all has to work, you know, and to, you know, put the picture together, you know?
yeah. Do you remember your first concert you went to?
Of course. My first concert was Greg Kinn and, oh my God, Canadian band. Fight the good fight every morning. Triumph. Thank you.
Yeah.
That was my first concert. There was a couple that I missed. So in Alaska, we didn't have like big stages. The biggest stage was my high school. So all the big bands came to Anchorage. They'd play West High because we had a stage that can, you know, accommodate, you know, a band like that. So Ozzy was there with Brad Gillis because it was right after the, you know, the plane accident, the plane crash. Ted Nugent, Molly Hatchet, all these killer bands. And I was, you know, I didn't live in Anchorage at that time. So getting to, when I say I lived in the mountains, I lived in the mountains. You know, no running water, no power kind of thing. You know, I lived in the woods. So getting into town, Anchorage, it's, you don't go there unless, you know, one, you need to get groceries for the month, or it's an emergency.
I remember when Eddie Van Halen passed away, and you posted up something on your Instagram.
Yes.
Like Eddie Van Halen changed your life. I'm pretty sure he changed a lot of people's life with his playing, man.
Yeah.
I didn't get into Van Halen till like maybe, I think, in the early 2000s or something. But like I was into classic rock. I grew up with Kiss and Alice Cooper and Poison, but then got into like, you know, the hardcore and punk stuff as well. But then in the early 2000s, Van Halen did it for me, and then I bought like almost every Van Halen album.
Yeah, Van Halen did it for me too. From the moment there was a movie that came out in the 70s that was I forget the name of the movie, but Matt Dillon was in it.
Yeah.
And some other people, and they were at a party, and You Really Got Me was playing in the background at the party. And that was my first. I was like, what the heck was that? Well, you didn't have pause and you know, stop and rewind that. You just had to watch it through. So I would you know, I just remembered what it was, and I was like, who is this? And then I heard it, the Kinks, and I'm like, it's not the Kinks.
Yeah, it can't be.
And I thought the Kinks covered Van Halen on this, you know? Yeah. And I was like, this is a horrible version. You know, I want the other band's version.
Yeah.
And I found out it was Van Halen, and that was one of my very first records that I bought was Van Halen 2 when I got my first turntable. Van Halen 2 and Aerosmith, Night in the Ruts. It was my first
that's a solo album
I've ever owned in my life. But yeah, Eddie Van Halen and that whole band, there was always a mystique for me with them that I always had to tune in. And I remember at the US Festival, I didn't go there, but I was in Alaska. But K-Whale, the local rock station up there, aired all 3 days of it. And I stayed up all day and night, and I recorded like that on my boombox, and I went to bed just so I can hear like Van Halen, because I didn't know what day they're going to be playing, Oddly enough, I've never sat down to learn any Van Halen on guitar. I've always just been a in awe listener of what, of that band. And again, I think that band in a whole is just magical. And then obviously has, changed the world of rock guitar. But what made me post that when that happened is that while still in Alaska, my folks were down here, and they went to in Los Angeles, and they went to the sushi bar, and they were having sushi. And then these guys came walking in. It was, I think it may have been Brian May, Phil Chen, and Eddie Van Halen. And my parents, they didn't know who these people were. They had no idea.
Yeah.
They all sat down and they started, having some drinks and talking with each other. And my folks were saying, "Hey, yeah, we're from Alaska," and Eddie, and then they really struck up. So a conversation and really got along, and then made arrangements, or plans to have dinner the following week together at the same place. And so they did. They all came back to this little sushi place in North Hollywood, and Eddie was there, and Phil Chin. They were doing this Starfleet project with Brian May and Phil Chin, Eddie Van Halen. I forget who else was playing. And Eddie brought in this tape, a cassette tape of the board mixes from the studio. And he gave it to my mom. He said, "Here, give this to your son. He'll probably like it." And it's him and Brian May jamming with Phil Chin. And I don't know who's playing on drums, and I don't know who was singing, but it's the board mixes of those guys jamming. And I still, where is it? I have it here somewhere. Right here. Yeah. This is it right here.
Oh, wow.
Cleaning my room the other day, and I found this. So this was in Eddie Van Halen's hands in that studio, and he gave it to my folks, man. It was awesome.
Do you still play it?
What's that?
Do you play it still?
No, I don't want to ruin it. Next time I play it, it'll be to digitize it. But outside of that, it just needs to stay. I don't want to mess anything up. I haven't played it in a while.
Yeah.
It's just the two of them jamming, or the group jamming. And, I don't know. I just thought that was pretty awesome because, it wasn't anything that was released yet. It was just, obviously people in the music world knew these guys were getting together doing this project, and who knew what was going to happen to it. And it was thoughtful, man. You didn't have to do that.
Who cares? It's yours now, man. It's yours to keep. And then, maybe you can pass it on to your son or whatever,
Yeah, exactly. No, put it in my casket, man, or burn it with me.
Oh, yeah. What Steinbach did with the guitar.
Exactly.
Yeah. Chris Vickery, a long time fan of Beastö, has a question. Because what was your inspiration?
What's up, Chris? I know Chris.
I think we all know Chris. It's good dude.
The inspiration for Halcyon. And that's a great solo too, huh, brother? I love
mine. Before you answer that, mine is Dark Matter.
Oh, dude. Well, we know where this inspiration from that came from, right? Who do you hear in that, Adam? I'm interviewing you.
Oh, I was going to say Slash.
What? Oh, I'm trying to see if I can hear Slash. I don't hear Slash.
No.
But I do know the inspiration of that solo.
Can you tell me the band?
No. You got to guess it.
Damn it.
It's a game. They had a record. It had a wall in it. I can't give any more hints than that.
It had a wall on it. Pink Floyd.
There you go.
Yeah, really? Wow.
Yeah. So if you listen to that solo, I love David Gilmour. Love. And that, when Chuck brought that and the way that song was coming out, I was like, I knew exactly what it needed, and Gilmour is what I thought. I loved it.
Yeah, to go back to Chris's question.
Yeah. Halcyon. I don't know if there's any inspiration on that. That was one of the ones, again, that I told you how I have the producers send me clips of the music that I need to lay parts on so I can put something that, you know, sings and put the right, you know, what it needs, what the song needs. That was one of those ones. And so I literally broke that thing down. Broke that music down. So I tried all sorts of different stuff. I think I was like, you know what? I'm not like this flashy guitar player, but I was like, okay, you know, maybe we could start out with some two-hand stuff that would be that would sing melodically. And man, it just started working. And then once I started doing that and I found the melody of that, it just kind of wrote itself to the rest of it, you know? And then I think as I was writing that solo, because it was shorter. Yeah. Initially, it was shorter on the record. And then when I was recording it, or when I had it here at the studio, I doubled it. And I was like, we have to double this because there's a call and response to the way the solo works, you know? And so, the producer and Chuck and the rest of the band, they were like, yeah, absolutely, double it. We don't give a shit. And everything else just kind of wrote itself. So, you know, inspiration, I don't know, God, divine intervention, I don't know. It came out. It's just then when it was done, I was like, man, this is pretty badass.
Yeah. That's what I was saying to a friend of mine. A friend of mine that I used to work with a few years ago. We were playing one of the Beastö Blancö albums, and we were listening to Dark Matter. And when that solo hit, he's just like, "Whoa, dude, this is fucking amazing!" And I'm like, like, yeah, man, it just put you on a friggin' ride to the end.
That is a cool tune, man. It really is a good song. I think the whole song, just the way it builds and, you know, every little part of that. There's these cool little guitar parts in there too. Like, you know, the synth, Chuck's vocals, the words, you know, what we all did in there, I think is just super special. That was a fun record to record. I really enjoyed that one.
The Seeker is my favorite solo. I agree too. It's one of my favorite. When we got this, the Seeker. So you use a whammy pedal in that, do you?
Yes.
I can definitely hear that whammy pedal when you hit that high bend. Fucking amazing.
Yeah, that's a good point too for like us live when we were playing that live, because you know it coincides with Calico's scream, you know, right at that moment, especially live. You know, you know, she usually like yank me by the hair or choke me with the bat, like right when we're hitting that note, you know?
Yeah. I remember I was covering one of those songs from the We Are album. And I was asking you, like, what tunings were you using? Because I know the first album was like in E flat and drop C sharp for some songs.
Yeah, everything is
B flat.
The first two records are half step down, and then if we had to drop D anything, we'd lower the low E. The third record, that's all a whole step down.
I
mean, We Are, is, and this new one, you're just gonna have to listen to it and figure it out.
Yeah, different tunings.
Yeah, there are some different tunings in it.
That's what I like to hear. Because I remember you were saying that you were using a drop pedal.
Yes.
Yeah, instead of like bringing out 20 different guitars.
Yeah, that, and plus, with, when you're especially live, guitars, you can only tune them down so much before they sound like a pile of shit. And if you go up higher, then it's a little hard to play. So the drop pedal works out really good, and really especially for us live too, because we're able to, we can drop down and change a key if we need to, because some of the songs are up and down in tuning, and if again, you're right, you bring a bunch of guitars, we don't have that luxury, so it really helps us live.
I remember I was watching Rig Rundown with Alter Bridge, and Mark Tremonti was saying that he never plays in standard tuning.
I see that. He's a wonderful guitar player.
Yeah. Who else? Another favorite guitar player of mine, Mark Holcomb. He plays in a progressive metal band called Periphery. He was saying if you're struggling to write music in standard tuning, try like open tunings.
Yeah, absolutely. Like open G. You know, I did that on this last record. I tuned the guitar to certain tunings because it just was a little easier to play. And then there's certain chord progressions that just have this, you know, you need all those notes to get the tension or whatever you want out of that chord.
Yeah.
And, you know, sometimes standard tuning just doesn't do it, you know?
Nah. I always play like in drop. Always drop tunings for me, man. Like, Kiss did it for me because like they always played in E flat until now. They play like in D standard or whatever it is.
Yeah.
I just like the tone of those like drop notes.
Yes.
There's something about that. But let's get into Beastö Blancö because I've been a fan of your band of Beastö Blancö for since day one, since you guys released your first single, Breakdown.
How did you hear about Beastö Blancö? I'm curious.
Fingers for Chuck.
Oh, awesome. Very good.
Yeah, it was Chuck, and I think he posted up something about Beastö Blancö, about his like side project band or whatever it is, and then the first single, and then yeah, I was hooked. And well, like I was saying before we went live, like Beastö Blancö sounds like if Rob Zombie and Motorhead had a love child, it's you guys.
Yes. It definitely is. You know, I get that to a point, but I also thought that we and I still think this, that those records, you know, I guess because I'm so in it that I couldn't compare us to that. You know, I still felt like, you know, we had our own vibe. You know.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, we definitely got the you know, if you like these bands, you're gonna love this.
Yeah.
And I'm sure it's, you know, inspiration in there, but I still think, you know, Beastö, we have our own vibe, I think, you know.
It's also had like a bit of like a industrial sound to it as well, especially like the first album. If you listen to like Breakdown and stuff like that.
Yeah. That's that first record's a good record. You know, it's one of my favorite records. You know, and that started out with doing like 3 songs, you know, that Chuck had, and we ended up getting in the studio with Tommy Henriksen. He produced that one.
Oh yeah, right.
And you know, that guy's a weapon. You know, he really is. You don't realize it until like you lay some stuff down, and then you come back the next day, and you're like, "Holy shit, what's all this?" And well, I've been working all night, you know, and
yeah,
and it's like, I love it. You know, he's really good at finding stuff for the song.
Well, what I liked about like the 3 albums you guys released as well, it changes.
Yes, yeah.
Which
Ryan
is good.
Green, Ryan Green produced the second 2, and Ryan is well, he's a legend in his own right. I mean, especially in the punk realm. If there's a you know early 90s to 2000 punk band that has gone huge, I can almost guarantee Ryan is on that. He's a great producer, really good with finding, you know, digging the best out of you, and will not let it go until he gets the best out of you. So you'll be playing the same thing. I mean, I'm not kidding you, to where your frustration level can go through the roof, but he's got to get the best performance out of you, and he's got to get, you know, and it really is awesome because it challenges you as a musician and a writer. And so yeah, those are, you know, those production things on that's Ryan Green on the second 2.
Yeah, especially with the song like Grind, it still had like that Beastö element, but it's like it's not like you were copying it's not like you were trying to copy like the first album, and which I like as well. It's like you experimenting things, and like Calico sings more on the third album.
Yeah,
correct?
Yeah,
if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, being in the studio with Callie, it's especially like on the second record. You know, she didn't sing as much on the second record, but during that time, you know, maybe Chuck already knew this because they've been out on the road together and hung out a lot together. But you didn't realize how versatile she is.
Yeah.
Again, another weapon. Her talent level is just through the roof, and she takes direction really well. So it's like, hey, sound like a bratty Britney Spears right here, and she nails it right with her own touch. And then you say, you know what, now let's get something with a little more soul. And it's like, holy shit, you didn't realize she had this in her. So it's like by the third record, it's like, no, you're singing, man,
Yeah.
and
you have no choice.
And then with this current record, you're gonna hear some stuff that's just gonna blow you away.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it, man. After listening to the first single that you guys brought out.
Yeah. Plus live, it really does, gives a pretty energetic live.
Yeah.
But I'm not a singer by any means, but I don't think I could do one of our sets and sing a full set without like needing to get 3 or 4 cigarettes in me to get some air back.
Yeah.
Chuck does it, but this will give him a break to play his instrument, rock out with his head down while Callie takes over.
It's kind of like Solitary Rave,
right,
on the third album.
Yeah,
it's like that song was meant for her to sing, and she does that so fucking well.
Yeah, there's a cool story about that song. We were on tour. We were touring through Germany, Austria. Yeah, what other country? We were in another country too, Switzerland. And we ended up staying in this. So instead of renting hotels, we would get these like Airbnbs that were like really far from the venue, So we go to the venue, and then we'd have to drive like an hour or two into the sticks because we'd find an Airbnb that we could afford, and we'd bring the whole band in there, and we'd stay in these houses. Well, we stayed in this really cool house, man, in Germany, out in the sticks. I mean, it's like Blair Witch Project kind of place,
Yeah.
And it was right on this lake. We called it the duck house because there was all these ducks out in the lake, and it was winter. It was cold as hell out there. But I just remember I got up in the morning. We went to the grocery store. We made some breakfast, brought some food back, made some breakfast. I started playing the guitar, and I had this riff, the Solitary Rave riff.
Yeah.
Like, oh, dude, what is that? Here, record that down right now. So just with the guitar, no amp, we just recorded it in the phone and sent it to him. And he's like, I got these parts. And then Lindsay, came in and wrote, Chuck's wife wrote lyrics, and it really came out cool, and it's like, this is all Calico,
Yeah. Yeah. It's like that song was made for her. And hopefully in the next album, you'll see more of that.
Oh, you will.
Oh, yeah. Are you going to be releasing any more music videos as well, leading up to the new album?
You'll see some stuff coming out. And there was a lot of video recording for a good portion of the song. So yes, there will be some stuff you'll see. I can't give a release date on that yet, but it'll be really soon. So yes, to your question, there's more content coming.
Oh man, I can't wait. Sometimes I do this with movie trailers as well. I don't like to watch the movie trailers because they give too much away. So when it comes to music, I like to hear like maybe just the one single, and if they keep releasing singles leading up to the album, I kind of just stop and wait for the full album to come out, so I can get that full vibe and experience from that album when I want to listen to it.
Yeah. So what's your current trailer?
For movies?
Yeah.
The new King Kong and Godzilla.
Oh, I haven't seen that. I haven't seen that trailer.
I haven't seen that yet either. I think that's coming out next week, I think, or the week after. I'm not too sure. A friend of mine, he's like one of my best friends. Also, we go out and watch movies together and shit. He always tags me in movie trailers. I'm like, dude, stop. You're going to fuck it up for me, man. Like, because like movie trailers now used to be like, what, 30 seconds?
Yeah. For 30 seconds to a minute and a half. Yeah.
Yeah, now they're like friggin' 2 minutes.
Yeah, they're pretty epic. Yeah.
And that, But let's talk about gear, because obviously, you know, I play guitar and I've butchered your songs so many times over the years, and
I would let you know if you butchered him that bad. Trust me, I don't hold back.
no,
You did a very good job.
no, I try, and I always play by ear. I've only went to lessons once, and then I'm like, no, fuck this. I'm just gonna do this by ear and just learn the hard way, I guess, and just like trying to figure out how to play these songs. But like, what gear were you using for those recordings for the Beastö Blancö albums?
Which for a majority of them, well, it's always my Les Pauls that you see in the background. I a big Gibson guy, so I just love my Les Pauls. Amp wise, it was a variety of amps.
Yeah.
I have a Marshall Silver Anniversary, the Jubilee series.
Okay.
That was one of them. An AC30 that I have was one of them. Other amps, we did some of the songs from the second record in Nashville, and so we had some friends out there that Chuck got in touch with, and they brought in their gear is just sick. And so they brought in all these cool guitars and amps and Marshalls and Friedmans, and but for the most part, it's all Marshall, man. It's mostly Marshall.
Yeah.
And
especially live too, isn't it?
Yeah, Marshall and Orange. I'm a big fan of Orange amps too. I just love something about the tone of Orange amps that I really like.
Yeah.
And then all in the hands, man.
Yeah.
Ernie Ball.
Very less pedals as well. You don't really use.
I do use a couple pedals. I use a synth pedal from Electro Harmonix.
They're good.
That is in Dark Matter, actually. If you listen to some of those synth parts that are going back leading up to the solo, that's actually some of those are guitar.
So
it turns it turns the guitar in more of a synthy sound depending on how you set the mix. If you listen to I See You In It off We Are, and there's the you hear this, wow, that's synth pedal on the guitar. I use octave pedal.
They're good.
I could probably overuse those. I just love them on everything. Use the whammy pedal, obviously. And then for gear, as far as pedals, those are really the ones that I use, and the rest of it's through Kemper. I use a lot of stuff within that's already pre-built in the Kemper and just customize it. And I did a lot of that with this last record. I used the Kemper. It really worked in my favor because there's some different tunings, and I used all those algorithms to just to make life easier.
I think a lot of guitar players out there are using Kempers now as well.
They're pretty awesome. It's not one of those things where you just plug and play and it sounds great. You really got to dive in and tweak and do some things.
Dial everything in.
But it's, I'll tell you, man, and I'm looking at them right now, in 2 cases that I can carry with me as my luggage. We played stadiums with that. And I don't have to break my back carrying cabinets. You count me in, man. It's even with our guys who help us out, it's so easy. We get through our sound checks so fast with this because we're not fighting each other for stage volume and all this stuff. It's just, we can blast through a sound check within, once everything's plugged in 2 songs, and it's always consistent, at least on stage anyway. I'm really happy with it. It's really cool,
That's awesome, man. I got hooked onto the Positive Grid Spark amps.
Those are pretty rad, right? I haven't used them, but
years.
I watch a lot of guys who do use that. And I'm like, wow, that's great tones coming out of there.
Yeah, dude. Like,
does Andy James play with? Are you familiar with Andy James?
I've heard of the name.
I think he's up from Australia. He's playing with Five Finger Death Punch now.
Yes,
I'm going to give a plug for Andy James, dude, because you really should listen to him. He's one of those. He's a shredder guitar player. And I say that in the most complimentary way because the guy's technical prowess is unreal. But listen to his note choice. He doesn't just throw in all these, massive notes just to throw in a bat. Each one of his notes that he plays, your hairs will stand up, man. He's really good.
He was the guy that replaced Jason Hook, I think.
Yes.
Yeah. I remember now because I haven't listened to Five Finger Death Punch in like years, but like his name popped up and then kind of was sussing out his social media stuff on Instagram, and it's fucking amazing. Maybe I should go and chat to him, see if he wants to come on here and just talk about guitar stuff and gear, because I'd be down for that.
He's that good, man. He's really good. His choice of notes and what he does and when he plays is I don't know. I like them. They always sing to me. So for a guitar player, coming out in this day and age, he's definitely one of my top. Yeah.
You're a guitar collector, because I could see a bunch of Les Pauls behind you. Do you collect guitars on the way when you're on?
I used to. It was one of those things where I'm looking at them, but I used to collect guitars. I got rid of a lot of them. I just don't want a bunch of stuff anymore. So unless I'm not actively using it, I really don't need it. So all these guitars that you see here, they all get used except for. There is my very first guitar I ever had in my life, which is over in the end over there. That one I haven't used in a while. It's a nylon string acoustic. And I have one of my other guitars. It's not hanging up here. It was my very first electric guitar that I busted my ass all summer in Alaska working at a t-shirt shop, cleaning fucking screens on a, like the print on your shirt. I cleaned the screens, and I did that as a summer gig and saved my money.
Fun.
Bought my guitar, and then the next summer, the way to next summer, and then I bought my first amp.
I remember my I like to say first real guitar, as in like Fenders and Les Pauls and shit. Like I remember my first real guitar I bought with my own money. I bought a Fender Strat, Mexican Strat. And I haven't played it in a while, but it's just sitting in my living room. But it was like one of those first Fender guitars I bought. Then I just started buying Les Pauls and stuff like that, which I have one here.
There she is. Yep, I know that one. I've seen that one.
Yeah, the Epiphone with the Gibson headstock.
Yes, those are great.
Yeah. I think this is a 2012 model.
That's nice.
Yeah, because I know they reissued newer ones now, haven't they?
Yeah, they have. Mine is I ended up getting mine.
Oh, that is a beauty.
Yeah, there's only 1,000 of these ones made.
Yeah.
This is it's the LP 295, I think it is. It's a cross between the old Scotty Moore, the Gibson, the old thick acoustic hollow bodies. I think they're 195. Don't quote me on this. I'm going to probably get hammered here, but and the 57 gold top. So it's got the Floyd team cutaway here, like the 195. See how it's a little sharper?
Yeah.
And they obviously with the same kind of pick guard, with the floral pattern on there, and then there is a Bixby. I took it off because they drive me nuts. But this is a great.
You play that one live?
What's that?
You play that one live?
Yeah. I used this one, and I used my white one. My blonde one.
Yes, I've seen that one on videos a few times.
And then I acquired this one a couple years ago. This it's a reissue, a 64 reissue.
Oh, nice.
Or excuse me, 1960 reissue. And I found this, believe it or not, in a musty ass storage unit that a friend of mine had down there for, I don't know, it must have been sitting down there for at least 10 years, he said.
Yeah.
I was like, dude, what are you doing with this guitar sitting down here? At least put it in your office. She's like, yeah, we don't even do anything with it. It's a buddy of mine's, and I'm like, you have to put it in your office at least. Get it out. Seriously, when I say musty, it's wet and damp and all sorts of stuff.
That's
anyway,
beautiful.
I took it out of the case after 10 years. He said, yeah, take it home and play it, man, if you want. I said, okay, I'll bring it right back. You know, you gotta bring stuff right back. So I said, okay. And it was still in tune with strings on it like that. And I'm like, wow. And I was like, well, would you be interested in selling it? You know, or your friend be interested? So I had my guitar, guitar repair guy. Anybody in Los Angeles? Eric's Guitar Works. He's the best. He's awesome. Check it out. And then called some friends of mine, ran some serial numbers, and got like a quoted price of what it would take to get it up to par, and offered a price.
That's nice.
I got this. And this, I got to be honest, the last record. Yeah. 98% this guitar.
Whew. Is that that's a cherry burst, yeah?
Yeah. I love this guitar. I love the way it plays. I love it. I actually took it on tour with us when we did our last Germany tour, European tour. I love it. It's a great playing guitar. It sounds like butter. I love it.
Nice. See, I like playing this gold top. As you can see, like it's kind of like wearing off a little bit because I've been playing the shit out of it lately.
Good.
But the neck on these, man, it's thin.
Yeah.
Which I like.
Yeah, that's
a lot easier to play.
That's kind of what's nice about this standard. Is it a standard or a classic? I always forget. Classic, excuse me.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a little thinner than my blonde Les Paul. I mean, my blonde Les Paul, that one's going to the grave with me. You know, she will be buried with me.
It's your baby, man.
She really is. But it's a different neck. Hold on, I got dogs that just want to each other. Sorry.
No, that's all good, dude.
We take bets on dogfights here. No, we don't. I'm kidding.
Yeah, but I like to invest money on stuff as well, like pickups. I got the Seymour Duncan JB pickups on these.
I love those.
Oh, me too. I only got them because of Scott Ian. My man Anthrax uses them. And I just want to sound like him, when really it's all comes down to your fingertips and shit like that when it comes to tones and stuff like that.
Exactly it.
But yeah, that. But I just got like the new locking tuners in. I think these are Grovers. I think they are.
Oh, yeah, let me see those. Show them up. Hold them up a little closer. Oh yeah. I like those.
Yeah.
They make stringing a lot easier, don't they?
Yeah, they're good. I have another Les Paul. I think you might have seen it. It's like a Cherry Sunburst Epiphone. I only play Epiphones because they're cheap and they're affordable guitars, but they're still good.
They're wonderful.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I've got a Cherry Burst Epiphone Les Paul, but the neck on that thing's thick.
Yeah, that's.
And I use that for like drop B and stuff like that.
Yeah, I know with my blonde Les Paul, it's a tank. It's heavy. You know, it's one of the heaviest guitars that I have, and you feel it. You know, especially if you're standing around or we get done with the rehearsal. I'm using that. If I use that guitar only after a 2 or 3 hour rehearsal, I feel it in my back for sure. But man, it's a good guitar. I really like it.
But I always spend like extra money on these little things. I think the last guitar I bought was before the second lockdown happened here, which maybe I kind of regret doing that. But bought a Schecter Demon 6 guitar.
Oh, yeah.
And those are nice guitars too.
Yeah, they are.
I have one acoustic guitar that I think you might appreciate. I'm not too sure if I showed you this, but maybe on the next Beastö Blancö album, after this one's been released, you can write songs for this, and I think you might appreciate it.
Nice. All right. Yeah.
SpongeBob Acoustic, dude.
Yeah, let me see the headstock on it. What guitar is that?
I'm not too sure. One of my best friends, also a fellow chef, he bought me this for my 35th or maybe 33rd birthday or something like that. He bought it for me, and I'm like, damn, I'm lost for words. Yeah, I've probably played it like twice. I played like I Remember You by Skid Row on this guitar.
Nice.
But nah, it's great. The only shit thing is, it's the action is too high on these bloody guitars. I know you can. I know there's like a little truss rod or something in there that you can adjust, but I don't want to touch any of that shit.
Yeah, you could probably, if you like the guitar, you could probably get a setup for relatively cheap. You know.
I can, yeah. There's a few guitar shops around here that do that. But yeah, dude. Or maybe you know the intro to Feed My Frankenstein when you do the acoustic intro.
Yeah.
If you can, like, if you decide to redo the music video again, use this guitar for the intro video.
Perfect. We need to get one for for everybody in the front line, and then we'll get a drum head that has nothing but SpongeBob on it. Okay.
Yeah, I could see Chuck playing this.
Yeah.
Like doing like acoustic Beastö Blancö songs or something.
Oh, there you go. Okay. All right.
Beastö Blancö Unplugged.
Okay. Yeah, exactly.
It'd be like
Beastö Blancö Under the Sea.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, dude, if you guys ever come to Australia and you gotta do like an encore song, I'm just gonna yell out, "Play SpongeBob SquarePants."
Okay. You have that guitar handy.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, but I try not to spend too much on guitars now, man. It's just like now I'm spending more money on fucking tattoos.
Are you getting a lot of tattoos, son?
I've got a few now. I got my sleeve finished.
Wow.
Because my mom's Filipino, so it's like a traditional tribal Polynesian Filipino tattoo. Took me like 5 years to get it finished because I only wanted it up to here, and then I'm just like, nah, get it down. But I've got heaps.
Wow.
So I got like a big Alice Cooper tattoo that I got from, I think it was like when I was 30 years old, like 8 years ago.
Awesome. You have the Beastö Blancö tattoo yet?
I would like to get that. There's heaps of other tattoos I want to get. And because I remember you were saying, we were talking backstage how you're asking me if there's any concerts that's coming up that I'm going to see. I'm actually going to see Billy Vallow from him this weekend.
Nice.
I'm a big Billy Vallow fan. If you listen to his latest album, like his debut solo album, Neon Noir, I think it's called, amazing. It kind of sounds like where like the band him left off a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
It's great. His vocals is amazing, so I can't wait to see him play live. But okay.
Did I lose you? There you go.
There you go.
Okay.
I don't know what happened there. So since this is a music and horror podcast, do you like horror movies?
I like some. You know, they're not like my go-tos, but what's your question?
Yeah, what's your favorite horror movie? If you're,
I guess I gotta go old school because it's the only ones that ever like impacted me, like scared the shit out of me.
Yeah.
Okay, Friday the 13th. I'd have to say, you know, and I know it's definitely not one of the like classic for like, you know, horror movie enthusiasts. For me, it's the only one that stands out that I remember. My goal was to be a professional downhill skier, so I used to ski a lot in Alaska, a lot.
Nice, yeah.
And I remember after ski practice, a bunch of us got together, some other friends. They had a cabin near the mountain, and we all got together and we spent the night. and they had Friday the 13th on, and there was a scene where, I don't know, Jason came jumping as a Jason, right? Jason, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Came jumping out from somewhere, and I just remember just scaring the fuck out of me. Excuse my language. So much so where I flew backwards, knocked over a bunch of stuff, and was like, holy shit. So if I have to say any of them that got me, it was probably that one. And, I remember The Exorcist. That would probably be the other one that, something about those spiritual, tormenting horror stories.
Like psychological thrillers?
Yeah. There was one that was, it was on, I don't know what streaming site it was on. It was really good. I can't even think of the name, so I'm not even going to bring it up anymore. There's a couple that are out that are really good psychological thriller series that are out on the Netflix or Amazon streaming, and they're pretty good.
Yeah, I'm huge on like psychological thrillers, and I like the ones that are just like kind of be like, what the fuck did just happen there? Like a complete mind fuck of a movie,
right?
But Scream did it for me when I was young, when I was like 12. Oh yeah, I was like 12 years old when that movie came out.
I remember when that came out. It was very entertaining. I had a good time watching it.
Yeah,
it was my favorite horror one now.
Have you seen the latest ones?
No, I've only seen the first 2 or 3 after that.
The first 2.
Yeah.
Then after that, kind of went like comedic a little bit. It kind of just like the writing in that one is just kind of went downhill a little bit.
Yeah.
5 and 6, 5 wasn't too bad. 6 was okay. Apparently, Neve Campbell is coming back on Scream 7. So.
Awesome. I thought The Conjuring was good. I thought Conjuring and the second one were pretty good.
Yeah. Yeah, I've seen all of those. I think they're releasing the final chapter, whatever it is, The Conjuring, The Last Rites, I think it is. It's coming out this year, I think.
Awesome.
Yeah, but also, I like those movies as well. My brother got me into The Exorcist and Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
Yeah, those are the originals, man. Like the OGs of 70s horror,
Yeah, Scream did it for me. But then like Halloween after that, and then I kind of got into the Saw movies.
Yeah, I saw the first one. I thought it was really good.
Yeah, first one was genius. The 2 directors that directed that film, I watched the thing on Shudder, on the Shudder app. The 2 directors that done that movie, they actually met in film school. I think it was an Aussie and an American or whatever it was.
Oh, very nice.
And it all just started off as just like there's 2 guys trapped in the basement for an hour and 20 minutes or whatever it is. And then, boom. The latest Saw movie was great. I really enjoyed it.
Yeah. That was probably like one of the most brilliant things about the Blair Witch Project was, the way they went about doing it. I don't know. It was like cost them next to nothing, but yet it exploded.
How they make it as like the real thing. How they say it was like, this was based on true events and this is like the found footage.
Right. All those rumors going around, this really happened,
Which I got sucked into that.
It would be hard not to, especially if you see it's all just like, it seems like live footage,
It seemed like it until you Google it and you just see like a bunch of like actors playing these characters' names and like, fuck.
Yeah.
The same with it's kind of like that with the Paranormal Activity as well.
Right.
How they were saying that that was like based on true events or he was found footage of that shit and it's not.
Yeah.
And shit. But Chris, thank you very much.
Adam, thank you.
It was good hanging out for you for a good hour. I really appreciate you and would love to have you back on and hopefully you'll get to see Beastö Blancö in Australia.
We're working on that, but I do have to give one shout out. Today we're finding out that it's Ashley's birthday.
Well, technically, in where you guys are, yes. So, in here because we're ahead of you, but yeah.
So what was it yesterday for you?
Yeah, yesterday for me. It's my sister's birthday yesterday. 30
Happy
years old.
birthday, Ashley.
Yeah, you're old now, man. No, I'm joking. You know,
Well,
like us
happy.
old men here. No, I'm joking.
So, are you
Nah, dude.
who's old? Are you the oldest?
No, my brother is. So my brother is 41. Even though he looks like 38.
Yeah.
Like you've seen pictures and stuff on Instagram. It's so funny. So I'm the middle child, so I'm 38 when really I look 20. Um, it's so funny that my mum turned 66 on last October, and a lot of people will be like, "There's no way she's 66." I'm like, "Oh yeah," she goes, "No way."
Yeah.
Well, it's the Filipino genetics. Asians age well,
Yep.
and actually took her out to like me and my sister and that took her out to like a 5K hike, and she fucking crushed it, and I was fucked. My legs were like so tight, my knees were hurting. Mom's like, "Come on, let's go." I'm like,
Yeah. Hurry up, you little scrubs. Let's go.
"Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So yeah, I'm the middle, and sister's the youngest. So yeah,
Awesome. Well,
yeah. But dude,
for taking the time out and having me a part of your show, and congrats on getting this up and running. That's really cool.
no, thanks, man. I didn't expect it to go like up to episode 20 because I had a friend on here as well. He does a podcast, and he was saying that most podcasters only go up to like episode 7, and then they kind of just vanish.
Wow.
And they start a new podcast
Right.
and stuff like that. When I like to keep on going and just find guests to chat to and get to know them, and just talk about music and horror movies and just other stuff that other things that I don't really know about them that I can't find on the web.
Right.
But I would love to have I really love to have to chat to Chuck one day, and maybe Calico, maybe if they can able to do it, would be great.
I'm sure they would love to do it.
Oh yeah, and I know Chuck's been here in Wollongong like twice because obviously seen Alice Cooper down here twice, and that's when I discovered Chuck.
Yeah.
Through Alice Cooper when he played in Wollongong in 2017, I think it was, or whatever. I can't remember. It was like fucking years ago. It was a psychodrama tour or some shit like that. But I think it was 2012. I don't remember. It was like very long time ago.
Yeah,
But Chris, I appreciate you. Everybody go and listen to Beastö Blancö's new new single, Run For Your Life. Isn't such an amazing record, amazing song. Follow Chris on all social medias if you haven't already. And if you guys are new to this new YouTube channel, hit that like and subscribe, or you'll be running for your life for sure because Chuck, Calico, Chris will be after you. Anyone that's been watching on Facebook, thank you very much. I really appreciate you. And Chris, any final words you'd like to say?
Yep, just check out the single. We appreciate everybody's support. Run For Your Life is on all the streaming medias and the social medias and all medias, and we just do appreciate everybody's support and thank you for your time.
Ladies and gentlemen, Chris Brother Latham, which one more thing, where did the brother thing came about?
That came out a long time ago. So the precursor to Beastö Blancö is Chuck and I had a band called the Droots, and it was a 3-piece, and that one was definitely like Motorhead and Budweiser, right?
Ah, okay.
Our management at the time, they just started calling me Brother Latham. I don't know if there was another Chris around in the picture for them. Instead of just calling me Latham so they could separate the Chris's, they always just called me Brother Latham, and it just kind of stuck. And that was a long time ago. And so that's the actual original, timing of where that came from.
Gosh, because I never really understood. I thought it was just like, what's going on, brother? Going on, brother? And I think
that was pretty nice. We can go that route too, but no.
Yeah.
I was dubbed that title by our old management, and it just always stuck. So we just kept it alive.
Because you're definitely not a preacher. I can't really see you being like, "Hey man, brother, listen to Beastö Blancö, brother," and then you'll get zapped with a ray of lightning, and then boom,
you'll get zapped with a ray of blessings.
Yeah, exactly. And then Calico will just come out with the baseball bat with the nails or whatever it is, just waving it around. Hey man,
I said she was a weapon. I didn't say I wasn't clarifying that she knows how to use weapons.
Oh, come on, man. Takes it after her dad, for God's sake. Runs in the Cooper family.
That's it. She's a Cooper.
Yeah, dude. Calico, Chuck, I know they're probably watching this right now. But if you want to come on the podcast, man, you know where to find me. Or just ask Carl or Chris. But, guys.
Behind the bandstands.
Yeah. Chris, I appreciate you. It's nice to see you, and it's nice actually to chat to you. Everybody in the chat, thank you very much. And guys, be nice to each other. Stay creepy. And boom. Peace out, everyone.
Amen. Thank you, everyone.
Amen, brother.